Hey friends, I am so excited for today's video. As you can see, I am standing in the home that we have moved to, and we're just in such a transition phase of life. If you watched my last video, you kind of will get the background and the story of why we moved and all of that. I'm not gonna go into that today, but I am excited to show you around this old farmhouse that we are living in right now. And I'm also hoping to get to a DIY project that needs to happen. So we're gonna do a few things together today. But the first thing that we're gonna start off with is I'm actually going to make a late breakfast for my daughters and myself. And so I'm gonna take you with me. We're gonna do a little bit of meal prepping, and you're gonna get glimpses of the kitchen. I'll show you the whole kitchen when we're done with some of our prepping this morning. But this house is, if it had one word that I would say to describe this house, is it's very sunshiny. It has tons of natural light, and that was one of my favorite bits about this house. But we'll get into all of that here after a bit. I'm excited to show you around, show you all the projects that obviously are gonna come. You guys know me. Can't stay away from DIY projects and just tweaking things to make it my own or else improve it. Just my favorite thing to do. But let's go ahead and jump into prepping some food. All right, so I have been all about easy meals, easy meal prep with moving and unpacking boxes and all of that stuff. So our sponsor for today's video is perfect because I have some quick and simple things that you can whip up. And the sponsor is Topsy. We are going to be using this blender. It is a great tool to help us out in the kitchen. So the first thing we're gonna start out with is making a really hydrating drink so that I can sip on this while I am doing organizing and unpacking through the house today. And I like to put an electrolyte powder, and then I have a strawberry collagen that I blend together. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some cold water in this with a little bit of ice. Be right back. All right, so I got some cold water and ice in the 24-ounce blender cup here. And that's a perfect amount for what I am putting in here with this. I find that I just feel so much better when I get some good hydration and electrolytes in me, and being able to whip this up really quickly in this Topsy blender is so helpful. And I'll show you the best part here once we get this blended. Now, what the really cool part about this is it has a drinking lid. So if I wasn't gonna use this to help make breakfast, I could just throw this lid on and I'm good to go. I think this is gonna become, like, honestly a routine for me in the morning, being able to mix up my hydrating drink, and I'm ready to roll. I can drink right out of the top of it. It's perfect, and it's all ready for me to just sip at. It's so good. So we're gonna use this blender for something else and help us get breakfast all pulled together. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour this into another cup. All right, one of my go-to quick and easy breakfasts is blender pancakes. And this is simple for me because we eat very healthy, or we try to, I should say. And so I don't really like pancake mixes, but this is almost as easy as a pancake mix, especially in a great blender like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 1/3 cup, and you can obviously multiply this recipe by however many you want to, however many times you want to. So you're gonna take a 1/3 cup of rolled oats. We're going to do this in a very dry blender. So I washed the blender out and I dried it just to make sure there's no moisture in there. We're going to put that lid on. We're gonna do this part first, and then we can add the other ingredients. So we're just gonna put it in and we're gonna blend those oats. All right, so once the oats have become oat flour, so you want it pretty fine, you can add in the rest of your ingredients. So we are gonna put in a 1/3 cup of cottage cheese. We're gonna use a 1/3 cup of egg whites. And this could be fresh or carton like this. One thing I really enjoy about this blender is the little suction feet on the bottom because it keeps it held nice and sturdy. Okay, we're gonna put some vanilla in here too, probably about a teaspoon or so. I don't measure vanilla with measuring spoons. And then you can add whatever sweetener. You can use some cane sugar. I'm just gonna add in a little bit of liquid stevia. And you're gonna do a half teaspoon of baking powder. Now we're gonna put our lid right back on. And these little guys right here on this blender are great too because they help hold in the blender so you don't have to actually stand and hold it in. The Topsy blender will work automatically after the cup is placed and twisted. Okay, I have my pan heated up with butter and we're just going to go ahead and pour the pancake mix into here. I really enjoy this Topsy blender. Thanks again to them for sponsoring today's video. This would make such a great gift through the holidays, especially for young moms. It would be a great way to make baby food, and with it being so compact, I know that I can store it in any little cupboard that I have. It's also made with BPA-free plastic and is very durable and can hold up to day in and day out use. Whether it's someone that enjoys sports or a new mom, like I said, I know this would be a great holiday gift. You can check out the link in the description box below along with the promotion to get your own Topsy Smoothies blender. Okay, so as I was saying, this house is so sunny. I think we're actually getting ready for it to snow. So everything got a little bit overcast, which is fine because of the sunlight that comes into this house. There is gonna be some challenges with filming because whenever things are overexposed, it can just take the camera and really mess with it. But I'm excited to share with you this house. If you all have been around a long time, you are going to see that there are bits and pieces of this house that are not necessarily my go-to style. I really lean more towards the light cottagey style. We have some darker cabinets, and that's okay. I think that that is something I've been learning in this season, is that when you're an artistic person, you love to tweak and change things like I do, and you love to just decorate and make things a certain style, and you're put in a position where this is what you have to walk through. It's living in a home that's not yours, but you're gonna kind of make it your own, and just being very satisfied with that and content. Contentment is something that is so important for all of us, but we're not gonna roll into that right now. So this house is a very old farmhouse. The person that lived in it before me lived here for, I think, about 7 years. So there is paint touch-up that needs to happen. There's lots of little odds and ends that need to happen. You're gonna see colors like this red, I'm sure you can see under the chair rail behind me. That is not normally my pick, so we'll see what's gonna happen with that. And it's just interesting. It has all the like old farmhouse doors. There is no replacement doors, I don't think, through the entire original portion. We're gonna turn the camera around and show you everything. Excuse the little things here and there that you see. I have a few boxes on the first floor here, and there's more boxes upstairs that are just floating around, things that need to be unpacked. There is so much organizing that needs to happen. There's been a lot of things put in cabinets, but not the organizing portion, so I'm sure you guys will see a kitchen organization video coming out sometime in the near future. So there's lots of stuff just that has not been gone through and things like that. I mean, we have only been in this house for the last couple of days, and we've been able to put a lot of things away. And again, just in case you didn't see my other video, this house is double the square footage of the house that we were previously living in. So a lot more space. So it's just feels refreshing to have this kind of space. So let's turn the camera around. I'll start to walk you through the house And if we see some snow flurries, you know I was right that it almost looks like it could snow. But either way, we've been making this our home and we are excited to be here. I decided to start off with the kitchen since this is the area that you all see the most. This is a very interesting kitchen and I'll give you a little bit of a backup here. So here is our table. This is the dining room. We'll get to that in a second. But then it leads out into this kitchen. So there's kind of this walkway, which I'm not sure originally if this was the kitchen, this small walkway, and then they bumped out what we have out there. I don't know. But this is a nice big area. It feels really good. We've got this kind of coffee bar type cabinetry here. This is massive for storage, great storage. We've got the refrigerator here. And then as you come out through this area, you will see all of the natural light. This is just gorgeous. It just looks out on fields. I am so excited to wake up to a white, snowy day in this kitchen. And you can see there's blinds that are broken. That's something that we have to get taken care of, which I have a DIY that I'm planning to do. There's little quirks everywhere. So we'll come back into the kitchen, but as you go around the corner, there's sort of an extension of the kitchen that could be many, many things. I mean, this could be an office. It could be, it's just kind of like a sunroom area. And I am planning to probably make this sort of an extension of the kitchen, do meal prepping in here with my prep table and that sort of thing, since there is not an island in this kitchen. But you can give me all of the tips. We've got some repair that has to happen up there, but that's just the way it goes with old houses. And the view that we get from this is just absolutely beautiful. The sun shining through here in the morning. This is the side that it rises. You can see a sunrise. We've been having pink sunrises across this line over here, and it's just been absolutely gorgeous. And this was an addition. I don't know if it was a porch and then made into an addition. So we have this funny little quirky window opening that they decided to leave there. And it has those shelves. And so I put some of my plants that were sitting in our other sunroom at the other house there. You can see there's lots of little screws and random things, a piece of trim up there that needs to be attended to. But it is going to be a fun room to pull together. I was in here actually yesterday just really thinking about what I'd like to do. I was thinking of doing some shelving here. There's a small shelf that someone had here, but I was thinking maybe more like built-in shelves for dishes. Have lots of thoughts and ideas on this little room that's off the kitchen. So going this direction, you can kind of see how long the kitchen is. There is a big red barn there. There's a red barn there. I love that this is a full farm, and we will see lots of farm activity for sure. So going out this way, you can see all of the windows, and like I said, dark cabinets are not usually my choice for things, but with these windows, you don't really think about the cabinets that much just because of all the natural light and beauty that is surrounding us in the outdoors. So this is the stove area, the sink, and then this spot, I would love in the comments if you all just gave me some thoughts on this. So the laundry is in the kitchen, which is more unusual for US homes. I think that's actually more common in other parts of the world, is to have your laundry right in your kitchen. We are waiting on a washer to get delivered in the next couple of days that goes on the other side of that where there's piles of boxes and such. So I just don't know exactly what I want to do there. I want to somehow create that as kind of a separate section. I thought about putting a board here with a top ledge, kind of making that its own spot, or a board that goes like a shelf that would go behind the washer and dryer. Give me your thoughts. I would love to hear them. And these poor blinds, just ignore them. They're gonna change. And then on this side, there's actually a rather large walk-in pantry. I'm not gonna show it to you right now because we're gonna organize that together, and the sun is peeping out again. You can see it getting brighter. But that is great storage there as well. So I have way more storage in this kitchen than I did in the previous one. So here you're seeing the refrigerator area. Now we're gonna kind of spin around going out of the kitchen. We've got this full dining room, which is amazing because we had our dining table in basically a very narrow sunroom. So we have a very narrow table. We may swap that out now that we have a bit more space. But you can see the old door here, that goes out to a mudroom. And the trim, I just love the little touches in this house. Just beautiful, beautiful, the trim and all of that. This here is a full bathroom, a very tiny full bathroom. It has a stand-up shower and whatnot in there. Again, that will probably be its own video on decorating that and organizing that. So I'm going to go and stand right here and I'll show you from the door how the house looks going that way. All right, so now you can see from the doorway, you can see me standing there. The outlook on the kitchen. This little doorway goes into that sunroom we were standing in. We have this little console here that works great for keys and whatnot. And actually I'm storing the towels for that small bathroom in this, so that works out great. We are going to go into the living room first and then we'll head that direction. So over here is the living room space and it's just so cozy. It's got this funky door right here, which I'll tell you about in a second. But here you can see on this side of that window that goes to the sunroom, all my plants sitting there. They were honestly just sat there. There's been no arranging to that. It is just sitting there. So I want to somehow make that a little bit more put together. We'll get there, we'll get there. And then we have our couch over here. This is the couch. We love this couch. It is modular. And right now you can see that we actually have two of the like ottoman pieces up against there. So this is just like a very, very wide couch area that we can lounge on. Love this so much. We can pull that away if we're having guests over and we want to actually just sit. There's so much you can do with this. So, and it has storage in it. I think you all have seen it before, but anyways, then we've got a recliner here. I'm actually gonna go and stand right here and point the camera this way so you can see everything from this side. So this is coming in from that sunroom doorway, and we have lamp, we have the sofa, we have this chair. This door, I've been racking my brain on how to somehow style that door. That is the basement door and it's in such an odd area, but that's what goes with old farmhouses. You're gonna find the odd, the interesting, all of that. And so I don't know if I'm gonna put a taller plant here to sort of balance out that little funny door, or even put a wreath on it. You can give me your tips or thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from you guys on that stuff. So this house has two staircases, which is pretty common with older farmhouses. This one goes up that way, and it did have a door on it, but because of the size of this sofa, and we did want to keep this in here, we actually took the door off, so that is going to have to be painted, that trim. Lots of paint that needs to happen in here, touching up and whatnot. And this here I've not done much with, other than the couch is just sitting there. So there's the front door where we were standing. I'm trying to do my best at giving you guys like an orientation of where, or give you like how the house is laid out. So we have our TV up here, a blanket basket there, and a nice cozy living room. Here it is all from the dining room again, just a nice little pan over, and it just feels so cozy in here. We have been loving this setup for our family and to be able to have friends sit in here. All right, so now I'm actually standing in the living room, coming from the living room doorway. You can see the little stand there. We have the table here. This has lots of space. This is why I was saying we could get a larger table in here if we wanted to. So this room over here is probably my favorite room. It's not my favorite color currently, but that can change. This room, first of all, let's just take a moment for this door. I'm gonna pull this shut and show you all. It needs to be washed. There's been many fingerprints on it through the moving in situation, but this door is just gorgeous with the old handle, the trim. Love it so much. And we can close this off because this is going to be our schoolroom area. So it's got the original hardwood floors. It is just beautiful. The sun pours into these windows. This is the other staircase I was talking about. And we're gonna swivel around here. I'm trying to get the whole scale of the room because this is a very large room. So this is our bookshelves that were in our schoolroom in the other house. And then obviously this collapsible table from IKEA that we love. We can push that off to the side. They can be in here playing some kind of game on the floor. If we have people over, this is a great spot for the kids to do things. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with the decor in here. Obviously mint green and dark purple are not usually in my color palette that I choose for decor. So that will be changing, I can tell you that. But this room is just so fun. I am thrilled about it. This is something that needs to go to my sister-in-law that's sitting there. But on this side, you can kind of see I put a little chair here for my early morning reading, devotions, that kind of thing. I want to eventually probably put a desk in here for myself, but this room is just beautiful. All of the fixtures I just love so much. I mean, the trim, the door, all of that, so beautiful. And so this is the first floor. You can kind of see when you come in the door, you've got living room, kitchen, schoolroom behind me, bathroom, dining room. And I'm gonna give you a peek at some real life because this is an area that has not been unpacked and was quite literally just piled here from everyone helping us move. The store needs paint. But that is this mudroom. I am so excited to really make this an organized mudroom. This is so helpful. It's pretty big. It has a lot of space. Someone actually had already hung a bunch of little hooks out here. This is just, I'm really excited to do a lot with this. It is a very helpful space because we live somewhere that gets cold in the winter time. So I have to show you the original wooden door that's here because I just think it's so beautiful and love all of this. Just, so beautiful. That sunlight coming in, just gorgeous. All right, friends, it's actually the next day, and yesterday I had planned to try to accomplish this DIY. Didn't realize I was going to need some time, so I started it yesterday. We're gonna finish it today, and I'm gonna explain where we're gonna need a little extra time. So I love these windows in this kitchen, as I expressed, and the thing that is difficult about these gorgeous windows is the sun can really shine in at certain times of the day. A certain point in the morning and in the afternoon, it is about blinding in here because it's so bright and the sun just really streams in. It also depends on how cloudy the day is and that sort of thing. Right now it's pretty cloudy, so we have the cloud cover to sort of be our blinds or curtains. I really don't want to replace the blinds in here that were broken. My husband helped me take them down this morning, so they're gone, and I kind of like the idea of not having blinds because I love the natural light. On a day where it's cloudy or snowing, I just want these open. I love to be able to look out. There's no one back here that can see in our windows or anything like that, so it's just a beautiful view, and so I'd love to keep it that way. So I was trying to think of an idea of how to sort of have the solution of something to cover the windows whenever it is blinding the sun, but also something I could take off. So I think I did this years and years ago in the first house that I lived in. I think I did something similar to this. But this is such a simple DIY. It's very, very, very cheap, very inexpensive. So it's not the cost of buying blinds or even buying curtains at the store. It's just very inexpensive. So the supplies you're going to need is a pack of flour sack towels. You can buy these on Amazon. I'll leave a link for them below in case you're unsure of what you're buying. But I would really recommend to just go to Walmart and get a pack. This is a pack of 10 that are, I think they're between $5 and $10. Super inexpensive. I actually only needed 10 to do this project. So, I mean, you cannot beat that. And then you're also going to need some sort of rod to put them on. Now, I chose to do, and the sun is starting to peek out. You guys might get to see what I mean whenever it really starts shining. So what I wanted was something that was temporary, something very easy to take down. And of course, the solution to that when it comes to curtain is usually tension rods. Now, these are very wide. They are actually different sizes through here, but these two in particular next to me are extremely wide windows. And so I went to Walmart and I actually was able to find this very, could be very long tension rod. And this was, I believe, around $6. I actually looked on Amazon. I think that they're more like 14, 13, 15, somewhere around there. So again, if you don't have the resource, you could check out Amazon, but I would still just recommend going to Walmart and getting a very cheap tension rod because that's going to keep the price of this little project very, very low. Now, the only color that they had was this silver. I did grab some matte black spray paint. I don't know if I'm going to tackle that today because it is literally freezing. I don't know exactly what the temperature is outside, but if I had to guess, I would say like 20 degrees. Something like that. It's so cold. So I am not going to be out spray painting today, but I may end up doing that just to give it more of that farmhouse look, to do like a black rod. So I'm going to tell you the steps, and I did film them for you of how to do this. It's so incredibly simple. So you're going to start out by ironing your curtain, or I should say your towel. And another way that you could do that is to put them in the dryer and just put them on for a while. That would help to tumble some of the creases out and just get everything flat. But you're going to be a little particular in your ironing. You want to make sure all of the edges are very ironed flat, so that you are able to fold the edge and so that everything hangs as nice as possible with these. Now, these are not perfect. They're not cut generally exactly the same. Some of them can be a little bit different. Sometimes they're not exactly straight. But this is just a simple little DIY. It's not really something that I'm planning to have as a permanent long-term solution, but it's just something that works right now and can kind of look a little cute, kind of gives you that cottagey look. So once you have it ironed out really well, you're going to lay it down. I would recommend putting some newspaper under your workspace or some, brown paper or something like that, just so that you don't have to worry about the glue. Yes, I said glue. Leaking through. So before we get to that though, you're going to go ahead and fold the top of the towel. Now this, you can kind of play around with your window depending on the size of the window. You want to hold it up and probably get an idea of how far you want to fold it. And if you want to cut some off, you could do that at this point as well and then fold it over. I chose to keep the entire towel and then fold it at about 2 inches. I just used a ruler and some straight pins, and I went along and put the pins in as I measured to make sure that it was 2 inches folded over. Now, if you don't have pins, another thing you could do is use some magnets off your refrigerator, something that has a little bit of weight. You could use spoons, put that on. You don't need to have straight pins. Don't go out and buy them for this project if you don't have them. I just happen to have them in my sewing kit, so they were a little helpful for this project. So once you have the entire thing pinned down or set or stuff set on it and measured to the fold that you want, you're going to use some fabric glue. Now this is the Adaline's Fabric Fusion. I got this at Walmart for a couple dollars. And I don't know, honestly, the difference in some of the fabric glues. There's quite a variety. This one is clear and it turned out really well for me. There's some white ones, there's some other varieties, but this one just says Fabric Fusion Permanent Fabric Adhesive. And this is the part that I was kind of thinking it would be a little more like super glue and just like stick right away. Well, it needs some time to dry. I would recommend at least about 2 hours, and then you want to kind of test a little corner to make sure everything is glued together and you're not going to have your fabric coming apart. So all you're going to do is just go along the edge that you folded, and you're going to put a nice little bead of glue the whole way across. Kind of press it down with your fingers. This is the part where I was saying you may want to use some newspaper or put paper underneath of what you're doing, because obviously material is porous. It's going to have a weave to it, and some of that glue might get through to your surface underneath. So if you don't want to be scraping glue off your countertop or your table, you may want to do that. Okay, so now kind of catching up to today. So I did all of this yesterday. I let it sit overnight. And now we are ready to put the curtains on, and I'm going to show you all what this looks like. I chose to do more of a half curtain because these windows are so big, and it just gives that farmhouse cottage feel. And the really nice thing is that whenever I don't want these things up to protect us from the blinding sunlight, I can just take the tension rod off. I can fold up my little curtain. We can put them away. I can also rotate them to different windows if I want to. I did 5 to cover all of the windows in the main space of the kitchen here. They're just very flexible. Also, just gotta stress it, very, very inexpensive compared to even buying like curtains for something like this. I was looking online and just looking at curtains that would cover a window like this, and for a set of curtains, I was seeing a lot of like $25, something like that. So that means that in this area alone, I would spend over $100 on quote unquote cheap curtains for this area. So we're gonna try this out for a while. I'm gonna look into some more maybe permanent solutions to my problem. But I love the fact that I can just remove them and have all of our windows open. And little disclaimer, as we put these curtains up, these windows are very dirty. They need to be washed, but stressing, it's 20 degrees outside Fahrenheit and or colder, and right now like anything is freezing outside. So I don't really want to go and climb on a ladder and clean the outside of these, but believe me, the first day that we have that is just warm enough for me to get out and do that, I will. This house, like I said before we moved into it, has sat empty for several months, a handful of months, and so they just need to be cleaned again. So if you see a little cobweb on the outside, you see a little bit of stuff, I'm getting to it, okay? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stick these on. Again, they're not completely square, they're not perfect, but they work for what I need. All right, I messed around with these, kind of trying to adjust them just a bit, but they are what they are. A few tips I have for you is you want a tape measure, so you can measure from here to here and here to here, so you don't have a lopsided tension rod. So anytime you're working with a tension rod. And then I also was using some safety pins just to kind of gather some of these little edges. They wanted to pop out just a bit. And so it just helped to do that. So I think this is going to work just great. Here I can actually pull one so you can kind of get an idea of what it will look like whenever it's pulled across. Just super simple, but what I really like about these is they are very thin, so it's still gonna let that light in. It's just not going to be in your eyes because it can do that in this kitchen. It's just the right height of the window and everything. So, and there, see how I was saying this one I didn't do with the safety pin. Now this one over here I did just a little bit there, and you can kind of see sort of helps the look of it. But like I said, there's gonna be a lot of times I take these down. I don't even have them up. And then I can pull them out if I need to be out here working during the hours where everything is really bright. I think looking out these 3 windows, you can really just see how they, with them being a white color, they are not quite as noticeable. And that was one of my thoughts too on maybe leaving these silver, because if they're black, it's gonna be a more definite black line going across with the rods. But either way, it gives a nice, sweet little farmhouse charm to this. And I think that part is kind of cozy. I did want to give you all just an update on how our family is doing. First of all, I am feeling so much better. If you missed my last video on talking about us moving and everything, I actually had a pretty severe case of pneumonia in the process of us moving, and I am feeling so good. I want to say like probably 95% better. There's times that I can kind of feel it in my lungs whenever I am carrying boxes that are too heavy and things like that. But other than that, I am doing a lot better. So I wanted to tell you all that because I know so many of you were commenting and asking how things are. And my mom actually was able to come for 4 days after we moved to help me unpack a lot of stuff. And I truly don't think I would be this far in like unpacking things if she would not have come. So Mom, if you see this video, thank you again so much for coming. That was huge, even just for like emotional support, because I felt so discombobulated. I don't know if people say that word anymore, but I just felt so skewed kind of, because we had so much help packing our house and so much help moving, but that also meant that I didn't pack a lot of our house. So there was a lot of boxes and things put together that I did not know where stuff was for the first couple of days. So it was just mainly like ripping open boxes and trying to figure out where things were, which was no one's fault. I was so thankful for all the help. But it just made it a little bit more confusing to find the things that we need in our daily lives. And so, yeah, so we are doing good. The girls are doing good. Corey's doing good. We're getting kind of used to our new area because we're not quite in the same area. So it's, yeah, a little bit different. And obviously a new house and all of that. And the girls are really enjoying getting settled in as well. It's a little bit of a, I don't know if I would say mental and emotional jump for all of us, just because it was a little bit unplanned, the whole thing, but we are doing really, really well. So I am actually not going to be showing the second floor of this house in this video, mainly because it's less unpacked and we have a lot of personal stuff out and whatever, but it will be something that I'll be working on. This house has 4 bedrooms and a bathroom that is in the second floor, and the bedrooms, 2 of them are very large and then 2 are smaller, and it is just crazy going from a house that had 3 very, very, very small bedrooms that didn't really have closets. We had 1 small closet in the upstairs of that house. In total, that entire house, I think, had 2 closets like in the entire house. And so there was just a very lack of storage. So for those of you that didn't hear my other video, this house is almost double the square footage of our other house. I don't know if you could tell in me showing you around the house, but the rooms are very large and just spacious, and that just feels so different than the other house that we were in. And it's so interesting because, you know, that other house was an old farmhouse as well. And so is this one. This one has a lot more charm and a lot of the things I showed you, but they're just two totally different sizes. And this one is sitting on a farm versus that one. It was kind of tucked back in, and it was not sitting on a full-size farm. So yeah, so I'm enjoying it. I'm taking it slow just because of being sick. I can't overdo it. And I'm just thinking through what I want to do with each room and putting together some furniture. We've had some other furniture coming because there was just stuff that didn't work in this house that worked in the other house, and you know, all of that of adjusting. But we are doing really good, and Corey and I have been talking over the last couple of days of just how much this has been a stretching and growing experience for him and I. There was so many components, mental, emotional, like just physical, just things that played into this time frame of us moving. And we know that this is a time that God wants to grow us and stretch us and make us stronger. And there's just been so many lessons that we've learned in the last couple of weeks that God has just been, just growing us kind of to a new phase of life. And I think it's crazy how that can all of a sudden happen. It's like you're going along in your normal routines and something happens that stretches you and grows you, and suddenly you're like, whoa, like I'm learning all kinds of new things about my character and about my walk that I didn't know or didn't think about even a couple of weeks ago before this happened or that happened. And so it's a good thing. We both have total peace about where we're at. We have total peace about the things we're walking through and the challenges we're facing, and just all of these things. There's just been so many components and pieces that have come together that have been so good and so healthy for us. And it's just making us a stronger family. It's making us stronger individuals and making our marriage stronger. So I give God the glory for all of that stuff. But I just wanted to pop on, give a little update, and just share these things because we all go through difficult seasons in life, and then we go through growing and stretching seasons in life too that might not be quite as bad as like the valleys and the difficult seasons, but it's still uncomfortable. It's still that stretching and growing and the things that you're like, ooh, that's not my norm. That's not really what I would choose to do. But okay, God, and going on with that. And so I just encourage you, if you're also going through a stretching and growing season, to just embrace it. Take one day at a time. I don't know how many times we have said one day at a time. In the last couple of weeks, there just been certain days that Corey and I both feel like we're spinning in circles. We just have so much going on. Besides the move, there's just some other things in our life that have been happening, and it's just a lot. And we just keep saying, okay, one day at a time, or 1 hour at a time, or 1 minute at a time through these different experiences. So I just encourage you to stay the course, if you're going through a stretching time, because we're already seeing results of these hard things and just walking through them with joy and peace and relying on God and just trusting Him that, we don't know the outcome of this, but we know that you are good, and we know that if we are walking where you're leading us, then things will work out for our good. So anyways, that is just a little update on us, and I am so excited to film content in this house. I just have had the biggest breath of fresh air, even though the move was kind of crazy. Just the biggest breath of fresh air to film more content, to connect with you all. I've actually come back to Instagram as well this week. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you can go over there and follow me and just kind of showing more daily life things over there. I used to do more posting on Instagram, took a break from it in the last couple of years, and I'm kind of picking it up back picking it back up again. So yeah, that's just a little update, what I wanted to share, what was on my heart today. And I want to get back to more of like the coffee chats and like the day-to-day life and things like that, mixing through all the meal preps and the DIYs and those kinds of things. So I'm gonna wrap up this video. I'm so glad you guys joined me today. If you're, for some reason, this is your first video of mine that you've ever seen, I'd love it if you subscribed. It's free. And leave me a comment below. I love to hear from you all in the comments and respond when I can. And I'll see you guys in my next video.